Hey, what is going on, everybody? Today is the most anticipated video of the year for me because today I'm going to be building my very own first DIY electric skateboard. To keep these videos more on the short side, I'll be posting parts, so as the week goes on, I'll be updating you guys on how I'm going to be building my skateboard. In reality, I'll be building my skateboard probably within a day or two, but this will be spread out within a week. So today we're not going to start with really the motor or any vital components. We're going to get the basics down, like the enclosure and just the overall sizing. I'll be branching this off in the parts as I said earlier, so we'll be adding in the motor and all that stuff probably in another video. For the enclosure of my electric skateboard, I chose to use a, regular food container. I picked this up for free at my kitchen. You can also buy enclosures from other websites like DIY electric skateboards, but I chose to go on the budget side and just get a regular container for my kitchen. Luckily, this fit perfectly with my system. I'll be putting it right here with this case on. The good thing about food containers is that you can just snap it right off. So if I need to change something on my electric skateboard, I'll just snap those cups off and boom, I open up my innards of my electric skateboard. Fit perfectly right here. And yeah, let's move on to another part of the build. These plugs are my power switch to my electric skateboard. Basically, this XT90 connector will be right here. I assume it's like right here. And this will be plugged in. It'll be like the key to your car. Now, if something malfunctions or I need to turn off my board, I get my finger right here, and I just pull it out, because I'll be hooking up a wire right here. And that'll just cut the power right to my system. And this is an anti-spark XT90 plug, picked it up for $5. Also, this will be where my loop key will be. This will be right here, cut through. This will be my power, or my key, plug it in, my board will turn on. Take it out, my board will turn off. Basically, how this works is that this is an XT90 connector. These are positive, negative wires. The negative wire will be cut, so then there's going to be a little opening here. The negative wire will be hooked up to one of these pins, and then the negative wire will run back to this connector, which is basically like a circuit. So I can pull this out, it cuts the power to this negative wire, and we won't get any power to my system. That's basically like a safety measure and an on-off switch. These are going to be the charging ports for my batteries. There's two of them, one here, one right here, and one of them will go right here, another one will go right there. We'll be cutting a little hole or a little slit to put this in, and we'll be probably gluing them in so they wouldn't be pushed back or pushed forward. Also, I'll be using this balance connector because when this is hooked up like this, I cannot bring my charger like right next to my system. It just wouldn't be practical and it wouldn't really work. This will be sticking out a little bit like this. I'll be plugging this in, and this will be basically an extender so I can plug it into my charger. So we'll be getting rid of these wheels, and we'll be getting rid of these trucks because, first of all, these wheels are too small. Small wheels are used for acceleration, and I want top speed, so I'll be putting some bigger wheels on that. Also, this truck's not a Caliber 2 truck. Caliber 2 trucks have a little line, which give grip to my motor mount, which will be mounted like this for my motor. So we'll be getting rid of these tiny wheels, putting this giant 97mm wheel on them, and my truck is still coming in from Australia because, Australia's got 7 to 14 day shipping to California. Basically, to summarize, we're going to be putting bigger wheels, look at this giant beast, onto these small wheels to get a higher top speed, but a lower acceleration. We'll be hooking up these car keys, I'll call them, right here for my on-off switch / safety feature. This will be my extender for my balance connector, which will be hooked up right in there. And we just basically did the basics of starting off our electric skateboard. Probably today or tomorrow, I'll be receiving more parts for my electric skateboard, and I hope to update you guys in a couple days on my electric skateboard build. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, leave a like. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys in my next video. Today is day 2 of my DIY electric skateboard, and I had to branch this video into 2 days because I actually spent about 4 hours trying to do a couple things like clean the bearings and take out the trucks because I had to go through some complications. But today we're going to be taking on more of the mechanical parts and hope to get more of my electric skateboard done. Once again, I'll be splitting this video into 4 parts, or this episode I could say, into 4 parts. Today is the second part of my DIY electric skateboard, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So first things first, let's get the painting out of the way. So I'm going to be painting this enclosure, as you see here, typical food container, turn this to a nice matte black color to fit with my skateboard, because you know, having a clear enclosure wouldn't look that great on an electric skateboard. So yeah, let's jump in right to that. Basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to get this primer, black paint as you see here, and I'm going to spray it onto this container, and then I'm going to go to this container, both filled with primer, or spray with primer. And then after about 20 minutes of drying in the sun, we will apply the black paint, and then we should be good with the enclosure of my electric skateboard. I'll do this all off camera because I'm sure you guys don't want to see an hour of me putting spray paint onto a cover. So yeah, I'll see you guys. Alright, so we're going to let these guys rest. We got a nice matte black coating on my enclosure. And yeah, in about 20 minutes, I'm going to go put some black paint on it. So here is our finished product of the enclosure. We got a nice matte black finish, as you see here. This is my first time spray painting an enclosure, so bear with me about the texturing and design. I think this will do good. I put some primer and some paint on it to enhance the durability on it, since it's going to be down here and it may be getting hit by some rocks. So yeah, now let's move on to these guys. These guys need to be changed. These are too small of wheels, and these bearings look like they came out of like a dust barn or something. I don't know. So yeah, let's get right to that. We're also going to be changing these trucks because we need caliber 2 trucks. These trucks are not really caliber 2 trucks. So for the bearings, I actually have this very old penny board I used to have. Look at this guy, it's collecting up all this dust. And you know, these guys have bones red bearings in them, which actually spin for quite a long time. These are only ABEC 7 or 9s. So I'm gonna clean out these guys because look how dirty these things are. Like geez, this guy's been sitting here for about 1.5 years. Let's get these bearings, put them on these wheels, or actually on these wheels, and then we should have some better, maybe a bit better speed and maybe acceleration, but very slightly. After about 2 painful hours, I finally got these bearings out of my skateboard, and the reason why it took me so long is because, guess what? This thing snapped right off. So these bolts on my skateboard were super tight, and it apparently broke this, and I had to go to my garage and find the correct wrench size to get those nuts off. Now we're going to be getting these big wheels, and we're going to be putting it on these trucks. So actually it's getting kind of dark out, so I may need to continue this on 2 videos, so I apologize of how long it's taking me to do this. It's hard to build a skateboard, or electric skateboard. It sounds easy, but it's not, especially if you're building it yourself. So this may take a bit longer to get this video up, but hopefully I can continue this tomorrow. I made some revisions. You can see all these parts I gutted from my old skateboard and my old penny board. You know, since it was so dark out, I couldn't really record it, but I did do some revisions to this. This actually did take me a couple hours because of so many annoying things that happened. What I basically did is I got these inertia trucks, put it on, and got these bigger wheels to slap them on. That's pretty much all I did. And I also applied some spacers down here. It's pretty hard to see, but if you look closely, I can't really focus right now, but there's some spacers down there in order to fit this right wheel, because I want to be attaching a little drive wheel to this wheel, which is why I need all this leeway, as you see here, for my axle. But for this side, I'm not doing a dual motor setup, so I put some spacers on this wheel to counter this, so it won't be all shaky like this, or that axle. There won't be room here when I'm skateboarding. But yeah, let's continue my DIY setup. Sorry for the 2-day video. So today we're going to be assembling the motor mount, or at least most of it, and we're going to be putting on the motor. Since I don't have professional camera equipment, I couldn't really record me putting on the motor mount, but I can explain how I did it. Basically what I did is I got this caliber clamp, which is this thick piece right here. I slid that onto my caliber 2 truck, and then I slid my motor mount from DIY electric skateboards and just screw them in with these little notches. Let's see if my camera can focus. Right there. Pretty simple. It took me a little bit to figure it out because, I don't know, I woke up, I just had a little brain fart. But yeah, you just have to adjust it to the correct area you want it to be, and now I can attach my motor mount, or my drive pulley. I'm actually going to first screw in this caliper clamp, because right now I can basically pull it out right now. There's nothing really closing it in on the clamp to make sure it doesn't slide out this way, away. So I'm going to be screwing in these little screws just like this, and tightening them with my hex key. And yeah, and then after that, we should be going to put it on the motor. Alright, so now I screwed in these little screws to hold the caliper clamp in. Now, I'm going to be attaching the motor. There's going to be a couple screws. It's very hard to see on the camera. Let me pull this motor out carefully. There's going to be a couple, let me focus. There's a couple holes that I'm going to be able to screw into with a screw like this. This will be in like this. And it's so hard to see because of the light conditions. These little notches, I'll be able to screw a screw in there, and it should be able to hold the motor in. So basically this screw will go right in, right here, and I'll be screwing it in pretty easily. So I have my flash on so you can see a bit better. You see these little bolts? I screwed them into the motor, and now there's a bit of clearance so the motor will be able to spin freely, as you see here. And yeah, the motor's now installed. We have to plug these cables into the vest, and also this cable into the vest. And yeah, we should be able to go. Now, back here, I have to put a screw in, these little guys, just for extra protection, in case some of them slide out. I also would highly recommend to put Loctite onto these screws so they do not screw out after a week or so due to vibrations. For the next part of my build, if you can see these 3 pins on the bottom left of my screen, I'm gonna have to cut a little incision there because this whole vest is wrapped in some kind of plastic film. So I'm gonna do a little incision with my box cutter to open that up to put my transmitter for my controller in there, because there's not gonna really be a way to control my skateboard without a controller. So those little plugs right there are gonna be where I'm gonna be putting in my controller. As you see, I cut open a little hole for my transmitter to be put in, so now I can communicate with my controller once I get my transmitter in the mail. For the next part of my build, I'll be putting this, which is my motor pulley, right into there, or like the drive wheel pulley. See these little grooves? This will go into with my belt, and the belt will be laying right on this. As the motor is spinning, it will be spinning this as the pulley will be moving, and there'll be another pulley right here, which would be spinning also, moving the wheel. So yeah, let me get this installed. Basically, it's pretty simple. I grab one of these bolts and just screw it in to this motor mount. See that little hole right there? There's gonna be some grooves right here, little flat part. Put a screw right there, I'll hold it right in place. Remember, use Loctite so none of the vibrations will loosen up the screws. I'm not using Loctite right now because I'm testing my skateboard, and this is not my final product. I still have about a week until I'm actually getting all my parts and everything will be finished. So yeah, let me install this. Pretty simple, slides on like this, find the correct grooves, and it should be installed. So we got this guy installed, and now I'm gonna try and make some kind of Einstein contraption just to test if this motor will spin. Because, you know, I just want to try it out with a success. I'm not going to be using both of my batteries right now. I'm just going to use some kind of Einstein contraption to just hook up with one, and then I just want to see if this motor spins and see how it sounds like, because, you know, why not? I can, and I'll try my best to make it work. So, you know, safety first. As you see here, I got my gloves. This is to protect me a little bit. These are not full-fledged electrical gloves. This will just help me out, just in case there's a small spark. I can get my hands away quick enough before things actually start burning my fingers off. Okay, really hope this will work. Really sad if it doesn't. I gotta be really careful. heard a little spark, which is usual. So now we have everything on. I just saw my transmitter blink a little bit. So now let me try to turn on my controller and see if this connects. I can take off my gloves now, since I'm not going to be using too much electrical stuff. I want to be very careful because this is like very unstable right now. Like I have some metal areas that are open, so I need to be extremely cautious. So the vest light is on. I'm trying my best to not do anything crazy. It's on, blue. My transmitter's blinking on, so it's awaiting for a pair. So I'm gonna turn this guy on. Hold on, over here is the on button. So now we're gonna do this. Okay, it seems like it's connected. It was blinking green, now it's not blinking green anymore. I'm going to try and accelerate, and I'm gonna see what happens. Make sure nothing's in the way. Nothing. Let's see. Alright, so I watched a quick tutorial on how to do this, and I basically, see, I had to switch this channel if I kind of bring it as close as I can. I put this little cable on the top channel. It's supposed to be on the bottom channel. So now it's on the bottom channel. I am getting the correct notifications in the blinking red. If it's blinking red, that means it's not paired. So all I have to do is to turn on my remote controller and it should pair, and that guy should move. I'll get a close-up on my motor in a moment. This guy will work. Give it a second, and it works, guys! We got this guy functional! That's amazing! Wow, nice! So right now I only have 6S installed right now, so I have one lipo. I have 2 lipos. Right now I'm only running on 6S, so it's not going at its full speed right now. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for this video. I did so much stuff off camera. I'm so sorry that I was kind of cutting you guys out. Next video, I'll be attaching the GoPro to my head and having a bit longer episode. And you guys will basically see what it's like for me to assemble all this junk and stuff. So yeah, I apologize for this video. It may not be the best informational. Next video, guarantee, will be more informational. Next video, I'll most likely have all my parts in, and I'll be officially assembling my system, most likely. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you liked it, leave a like. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you guys in the next video.
What is going on, everybody? So today is part 3 out of 4 of my electrical skateboard, and I'm very pumped because this is the final stretch of my board. After this, it'll be all fun and games and riding my board up on the streets. I'll have some awesome B-roll for you guys. It'll be a great time. So this video, I'll be assembling the final parts of my skateboard, and yeah, enough chitter-chattering, and let's get to the video.
Alright, so all my parts came in, and we're going to be pretty much doing everything besides mounting the enclosure onto my deck. That's going to be for the fourth video. Jeez, I had a brain fart. So basically this episode will be pretty much assembling 95% of the parts, and the last video will be my specifications and a test run on this guy. So basically a couple of things I did off camera was attach these wheels and fix a truck, because I know there's a bunch of videos out there how to attach wheels to a truck and mount a truck on a drop-through deck. So I had some people talking to me about the clearance on this board, and I did agree with you. When I had this board, let me flip this guy over for a second. It's hard doing it with one hand. I didn't have much clearance. I probably only had about 4 inches of clearance. So I was thinking like, do I want to dish out $70 and get a new board, or do I want to try out and see if I can kind of wedge this guy in and see if it'll work? So I did find a way to make this guy fit, so while still using a drop-through deck. What I basically did was mount the motor in the back. Since it's kind of curved up, as you see, I can mount the motor kind of on the top side, so I'd have a good maybe ½ an inch of clearance. I don't need too much because it's behind this giant wheel, but it's better than spending money, okay? But let's just assemble this motor and let's see how it works out. So the first part to my build is basically slapping on this caliper clamp right here. This will be holding up my motor, and I need this guy. Basically all you do is just slide this guy on. Pretty simple, and you tighten these 4 screws. 1, 2, 1 down there, and another one down there. It's kind of hard to see. But yeah, let me tighten this guy in, and I'll see you guys in a second. I did state this in my last video, but basically all I gotta do is slide this guy on and tighten them with those bolts that are open. My camera can focus. Boom, right there. Alright, so a fresh coat of thread locker has been applied to all these screws because this is actually my final product. Screwed these guys in. These guys aren't going to be going anywhere. And man, it's really hard to be working in front of this light because it's like 100 where I am and there's not sufficient lighting in this room. But yeah, let's move on to the next part, which is basically, let me just get to the correct notch, because if you look closely here, there's a flat notch right there. And the flat notch is supposed to go where the screw is. There's two of them. There's two flat spots on this guy. So I'm gonna slide this guy on. I have to have it right here. I'll just screw this guy in, make it nice and tight. I'm not going to be putting thread locker on these guys because I may want to adjust this in the future. And actually I may at the end of the video. I just want to I don't want to put any thread locker on this at the moment. Now we're gonna get this belt over here. Put this guy on. And now we grab this wheel, which already has the drive wheel installed because you have to screw in these 4-inch long screws. I don't want to spend an hour screwing these guys in, so I did it off camera. Well, that's put in. Basically, you just screw in 4-inch screws into these little holes. Pretty simple. Didn't really want to show you guys because it's quite simple. Now we slide this guy in. I'll give it a little wiggle. Please stand. Okay, oh, made it. Let me set this camera down. So now we gotta kind of put this guy onto the belt. So you put that on like that, and you kind of move it around. Boom, now it's rested on the belt. Slide this guy on. There you go, make sure this guy's nice and snug, ain't going anywhere. You can see the motor spinning. That means we got the belt fully installed. Now we just got to apply some power to this guy and tighten some screws. So I gotta put this little lug nut on from here, and I gotta put some Loctite on this guy, and then I'll come back and we will put power to this guy, and we actually would be done. This is a rather short video because, you know, this is pretty much the easy part. Like, you know, finding the parts and all that stuff was the hard part, and, you know, figuring out the dimensions. But actually building it is relatively simple if you know what you're doing. I do know what I'm doing, and I'm also going to be attaching these lights to my skateboard. Boom. Got the back light will be strapped on right here. It's got blinking modes, and 2 front lights will go here, just to provide some safety. And I'm also going to have some underglow lights here, just to make the board look even more dope. Yeah, I'll come back to you guys when I have the thread locker and some more screws installed. Alright, so basically we're going to get these 3 cables you see here. Hold on. So basically we're going to get these 3 cables that you see here, plug them into my vest. I have a censored cable on it, so my motor will be censored. And let me just plug these guys in real quick. Alright, these 3 cables are now plugged in. Now we gotta give power to my system, and we are gonna be online. Ready? 3, 2. Boom! Nice little spark. You may want to use a non-spark XT90 connector because over time you'll damage the brass or metal inside here. I will be switching soon. Right now I'm just kind of testing my board. I'm not 100% done with it, which is why I'm not using the anti-spark cable. You have to use all the soldering and stuff like that. But we are now online. Let me grab my remote controller and pick up my camera. And now, if all goes well, we should be able to have this motor move. So put a fresh coat of Loctite in it, so I do not want to put too much torque on it because I want the Loctite set in and to not, like, you know, wear out the Loctite before it's fully dried. So let's give it a nice light push. Nice. Alright, so the motor does move. try to get a nice view for you guys. So my board will work at the moment. I could like legitimately stand on it and it'll move. I just don't want to move at the moment because, you know, the Loctite, I want that stuff to solidify. Which is why tomorrow I'll be writing it, because I want the Loctite to solidify overnight. Because it says you need to have it to be solidified overnight, or 24 hours. So I'll give it about 18 hours and it should be dried, and I'll have some B-roll for you guys of me skateboarding. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up this video. I'm just gonna slap these lights on, pretty simple. Kind of just wrap the elastic around, it clips onto that. I do it one-handed. You get the point, it clips to that, boom. And I'll be putting it on my trucks. 2 lights in the front, 1 light right here, because you can't put 2, won't really fit. And 2 underglow lights, which I'll be putting on the 4th video. But I'll put these guys on off camera, but the underglow lights will be put on the 4th video. So yeah, that wraps up this part of my electric skateboard. We're now about 90% done with my board. I just gotta finish my enclosure and put the lights on, and we're done. So yeah, I'll see you guys on my 4th part of my DIY electric skateboard. Jeez, my GoPro is so dusty. Bro, like the lens is completely filled with dust. So I gotta like carefully. There you go. Oh great, now it's gonna be really echoey in here. Didn't realize it, but you know, hey, it's me. Oh, whatever. Time to film my 4th video on my electric skateboard. After quite a lot of days, I finally got my e-board done. So I'm sorry for the echoes, as I stated in the beginning of the video, but finally, it's done. So I'm kind of going to tell you guys how, or what kind of errors occurred when building my e-board. Just as to let you guys know, everything is paired right now. Let me just show you my board. Shut up! Oh my god! Okay, anyways. So, let me just show you guys that my board does work now. Here you go. Go, she sounds pretty. But yeah, now let's go to documenting my adventure with my e-board and the specifications. Also, as a little disclaimer, I will be posting videos of me with my motorcycle helmet on, riding around my city with my e-board, you know, going down hills at pretty high speeds, and you know, just talking about my life and I don't know, a couple things. Some other people have done this before on their motorcycles, but you know, I don't think anyone has done it on an e-board, so yeah, I'll probably be posting those guys in the future, so stay tuned. Anyways, let's start with the motor. So she looks a bit beat up because I actually occurred quite a few errors with my my motor, because first of all, this guy dropped so many times when I was building my e-board because Loctite actually did not do jack to hold this motor up. So as you see here, let me just put this guy like this. My motor has a certain amount of clearance to turn and a certain amount of clearance from the ground. Alright, so as you see here, you can see the clearance I have with my board turning, so my motor will not grind with my bolts here or my board. And there will be a little bit of clearance on the ground, so there's not scratch on the ground. So when I had my Loctite, or blue Loctite, after probably about a quarter mile, this guy would just drop to the ground and start just to destroy the paint and destroy my motor. So I stepped it up to red Loctite. That didn't work either. It lasted a bit longer. I did wait the 48 hours, and still with not much better results. So I actually resorted to drill 2 bolts instead of 1 bolt to hold this guy up. So it's pretty much reinforced with metal. I'll show you guys in a second. Actually, in the end of the video, I'll show you what I did because I don't have the materials right now to take this bolt off. I will at the end of the video though, so stay tuned. However, let's move on to the next part. So I originally had a 12mm belt. I now have a 9mm belt because there was not enough clearance. You see how little room I have on this wheel? So with 12mm, this guy was brushing against this, and it was overall just catastrophe. So I switched to a 9mm belt. Sorry for the noise. I don't know, I just feel like recording outside. So yeah, I had to switch to a 9mm belt. I lost some torque, but it was worth the trade-off of not smacking into my wheel. So my motor is the 190 kV 6374 motor from Torque Boards. Really strong motor if you want a single motor. Definitely go with this guy. Don't get a smaller motor. It's 120 bucks for that guy. All the mounting costed me $100. The belt costed me like $8. This little motor pulley costed me about $14. Wheels costed me $30. Deck was free because I used my old board to switch it. I'm actually gonna be switching this board to a new one I actually just ordered, which is why I was kind of putting off this video. But you know, I felt it was a bit too long. I didn't want to put you guys on hold too much, so yeah, I'll post a little update video when I get the new board. Anyways, my trucks were 50 bucks for both of them, 25 each. Really good trucks. Most of the stuff we bought was from Torque Boards. I also, see, we got a little sticker right there. Or DIY electric skateboards. The company's Torque Boards though. I bought these little lights here so people could see me when it's nighttime. They see me rolling. I'll turn these guys on. Come on, turn on. I hate these lights, man. There you go. Now you can see these lights on. They're pretty cool. They light up when I'm riding around the streets in my 6'4". So you know, it's cool. For my container, I chose to go on the budget side, as I already stated in my first video. I got a tiny little plastic food container with some straps on it. Pretty much it was free because I just got it from my kitchen. It'd probably be around $6 if you buy it on Amazon. Yeah, pretty basic. I also had to put some electrical tape. As you see, the paint is kind of ripped. That's where my electrical tape was. Because when I was writing, these guys just kind of clamped off like this and my whole enclosure fell. Someone actually commented on my third video saying that I should put electrical tape or something reinforcing it. And I do agree. I do now put electrical tape. I always have for the most part, except that one time. Now for the best part, the internals. So these two batteries, I actually did state in the comments what I was using. I'm using two 6,000 milliamp power batteries. They're both 6S, routed in series. And you see with this connector right here. So you guys are connected in series, going into this guy. Going into my Vest, once again from DIY Electric Skateboards because they're dope. This is the new one. It's a Vest. It has regenerative braking, so I'll gain power as I'm braking. You know, be a little on the eco side, and you know, it's more smart. So it has gradual acceleration versus like if you were to go full throttle when you start, it won't fly you off the board. It'll gradually increase it. It's not like really weak, but it won't make it to the point that you fly off the board for the most part. Now for the speed and range. I get about 15 miles on a full charge. I'm probably only going to be about using 12 miles because, like, of course, I don't want to drain these guys to 0, and I don't want to fill them to 100%. I want to be around the 20 to 90 range, so I'll get about 70% on my battery, like, in use. The speed I get with this board is around a little over 30. Oh my god, why is saying 30 so hard for me? I get around 30 miles an hour, aka somewhere around 50 kilometers an hour. With this board, it is quite quick. I actually never got to this speed as I was trial testing it. I only got around to maybe 25, maybe a bit less than 25, like 23, because, you know, riding in LA roads is quite rough, and I actually wiped out once. You can see my jeans here. Sorry if it's upside down. I wiped out, got some band-aids on me, rip for my leg, but you know, it's all fun and games until you fall in really rough terrain, which is actually what happened. The problem with these wheels is that they're quite thin. I mean, they're average, but since they're so large and so thin, when I'm turning at high speeds, it's kind of just like sliding on ice. So, you know, like I'm riding when I'm turning, it kind of just slides this way for some reason. So I gotta be really careful when I'm actually going on really rough terrain and turreting, because it's like the worst combos possible. So yeah, that's the only complaint I have with these wheels. They are quite cheap, so you know, can't really complain. I shouldn't have spent that little. In the future, I'll probably upgrade it when I'm going at higher speeds and I'm more more of an expert on riding. I have been riding skateboards for a couple years. I am quite experienced, but I kind of had a pause where I stopped skateboarding for a year and continued. So yeah, I'm starting to learn how to slide with the board because it's going to be a necessity when you're going 30 miles an hour downhill and the belt rips on you. You're pretty much screwed if you don't know how to slide. You know, you could foot brake, but going downhill, it's not really going to help you. You're going to need a bail or do a slide, which is what I'm currently learning. I do know how to foot brake and, you know, shove your foot in between here to try not to get jammed, but kind of slow down your, the wheels. I don't know, something like that. It's kind of like a life hack for skateboarding. But anyways, let's get to me riding on my skateboard. You know, I'm gonna be going up on the Hollywood Hills, I like to call it. It's kind of like up there. There's some hills up there I could ride. I'm not gonna go too far because I do have my injuries, and I do not want to fall again. That would be a nightmare. Probably be going down there too. Anyways, yeah, I'll see you guys in a moment. Oh, I almost forgot. I'm actually using the Nano remote once again from DIY Electric Skateboards. Really small, fits perfectly in my hand. I got rid of the little string because it's actually worse when you fall, because when you fall, you're gonna throw that guy in the ground. Except when you fall without the string, it'll just kind of fly. Versus you like slam it on the ground when you try to cover your fall. So I got rid of that, and overall it just looks tiny. Like if you're riding it like this, no one's gonna really know. People are gonna see this.
No idea if you guys can hear me well because I actually have my helmet on. But you know, I actually fell a few days ago, so I may not be going among my quickest speed possible, but in a few videos later, I probably will be going my full speed. So bear with me. I just want to show you guys a little kind of sneak peek of my board. This is probably about a 15-degree incline of a hill, maybe 20. This guy can tackle it no problem. Just watch. A couple things to note, it may seem way slower when you're on the camera. When I'm actually like riding, it may seem like half as slow because, you know, when you're riding on a skateboard, it seems way quicker than when you're actually watching it on a camera. So let's just head down here and I'll show you guys a little bit. Time to go. I was probably averaging about 16 miles an hour going uphill. I wasn't really going full throttle because, you know, my injuries, don't want to fall again. That'll make me have like permanent scarring. But you know, this just shows how much power a single motor has with 44 volts. That's equivalent to about 5 horsepower, which is really strong for that motor. It also equivalents to about 80 amps, my bad. And has over 3,000 watts, 3,150 to be exact. You guys know that terrain like this is really bad for e-boards because first of all, you have this guy spinning, and if you're turning while spinning, you're gonna lose grip because you're not gonna have much traction on rocks like this. Also, I'm turning, it's even worse, and I have a higher center of gravity because I'm tall. So when you're turning something like this, you really shouldn't turn, especially on that. That's just death. So that's something to watch, especially with these wheels because they're tall and they're really thin. Not a good combo because these wheels are quite cheap, so should invest in more expensive wheels, but you know, let's see how long these guys last. But anyways, I'm gonna head down there, do an acceleration test. Alright, this will be probably an acceleration test from 0 to probably 12 miles an hour because
There's not much room. I just want to show you guys how quick a single motor can accelerate. I'm going to go at a complete stop, so no pushing to boost the engine. So acceleration may be quite slow for that reason. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1. There you go. It's actually reasonably quick acceleration for going uphill. I wasn't even going full throttle. Well, time to go home now. Okay, for all you guys wondering how I mounted this motor mount, oh my gosh, when I have my iPhone light, it makes these bolts look so filthy. Anyways, so you see these hex key bolts? There's 4 of them. Like, hold on, let me get my phone. There's one right here, one right here, one right here, one right there. Those are all the original bolts. And then the ones that are Phillips, those are all the ones that we added. So originally they were the hex key bolts, and we put blue and all the way up to the red Loctite. And it kept on dropping, so this, like, the motor mount right here, kind of just drops this way and starts scratching on the road. So we installed a bolt to prevent it from going down, so now metal is reinforcing this guy from going down, instead of just Loctite, because the paint they use for this motor mount is very slippery, so when you tighten bolts, over time, out of just, like, normality, is that even a word? Normally, it would just kind of just slide after half a mile of riding on normal terrain. So we had to shove these guys in there, drill our own holes through the aluminium, some people call it, and that pretty much finished finished this guy from dropping, and kind of like a little DIY finish to make this guy not drop. So yeah, that was it took us a while to find this solution. We first used airsoft BBs over there. You know, I did a little video earlier on airsofting, so you guys should go check it out. But we tried shoving one in there, but it just cracked after riding half a mile. That airsoft BB just cracked after half a mile. It just wasn't strong enough. It's made out of plastic. So that obviously didn't work. And then we used screws, and that eventually fixed the problem. So yeah, that pretty much wraps up my DIY electric skateboards. I will be posting an update on putting a smaller board to shove it in my locker when I go to school. Yeah, that wraps up my DIY electric skateboard video updates, and of me riding my electric skateboard will be in the future, so stay tuned. But anyways, I'll see you guys when I'm on my skateboard riding later. Next week, or this week, I don't know.